Hi guys, JT here, and with every Humble Monthly, the question is, what are the games like? Well, here's a bit of information on each game in this month's Humble Monthly, to help you decide if it is for you. If you want to know more about game bundles, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1, the feature game of this month, BIOMUTANT, an action role-playing game. In this post-apocalyptic world, you play as a mutated creature on a journey to save the Tree of Life from an evil force known as the World Eaters. With a wide variety of weapons, powers, and abilities, you must navigate through the beautiful yet dangerous world of BIOMUTANT. One of the standout features of this game is its unique combat system. You have access to a wide range of weapons, from swords to guns to a variety of martial arts moves. Each weapon has its own unique properties, allowing players to customize their playstyle to their liking. Additionally, players can acquire different powers and abilities as they progress through the game, adding even more depth to the combat. BIOMUTANT features intense and brutal combat. You can slice and dice enemies with swords, shoot them in the face of guns, and even unleash powerful energy blasts with your mutant powers. Accompanied by satisfying sound and particle effects, combat feels impactful and satisfying. BIOMUTANT features a beautiful and expansive world, filled with unique creatures and landscapes to explore. Players can traverse through a vast open world using a variety of transportation methods, from riding animals to piloting a small mech suit. The world is also filled with secrets to discover, including hidden items and quests. One aspect of the game that may divide players is the narration. Throughout the game, players will be accompanied by a narrator who provides commentary on the events happening around them. While some players may find the narration to be a nice touch, others may find it to be distracting or even downright annoying. In terms of the game's story, it is a bit simplistic. The player character is on a mission to save the Tree of Life from the World Eaters, and the story does not deviate much from that premise. However, the game's world and characters are so interesting that the lack of a complex story may not be an issue for some players. Overall, BIOMUTANT is a solid action role-playing game that offers a unique combat system, beautiful world, and intense, violent combat. While the narration and story may not be for everyone, the game's strengths outweigh any weaknesses. Fans of action RPGs should definitely give BIOMUTANT a try. And number 2, we have Jurassic World Evolution 2, a strategy and simulation game featuring none other than dinosaurs. The game allows players to manage and build their own Jurassic World, complete with a variety of dinosaurs, attractions, and research facilities. The game features improved graphics, new gameplay mechanics, and expanded dinosaur roster. You start the game with a small patch of land and a limited budget. You must build research facilities, incubation centers, and habitats to house and care for your dinosaurs. The gameplay is split between managing the park and researching new dinosaurs, facilities, and attractions. The park management aspect involves ensuring the dinosaurs are well fed, safe, and happy, while also managing finances, staffing, and park expansion. The research aspect of the game involves discovering new dinosaurs and genetic modifications to make them more powerful, as well as researching new buildings and upgrades for the park. As you progress through the game, you unlock new dinosaurs, attractions, and research facilities. The game features an expanded roster of over 75 prehistoric creatures, including fan favorites like the T-Rex, Velociraptor, and Stegosaurus, as well as new additions like the Ankylodocus and Giganotosaurus. The game also features new biomes, such as Arctic and desert environments, which provide unique challenges and opportunities for players. Your little dinosaur zoo pets can fight each other and break out of their enclosures, potentially causing harm to park guests and staff. However, these incidents are rare, and usually are the result of player error rather than a regular occurring feature. Not wanting to harm your precious human eaters, you can also tranquilize and transport the dinosaurs as needed, avoiding harm to the animals. Overall, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is an engaging and immersive simulation game that allows players to build and manage their own Jurassic World. The game features beautiful graphics and sound design, an expanded dinosaur roster, and new gameplay mechanics. The game is a great choice for fans of simulation and strategy games, as well as fans of the Jurassic Park franchise. And number 3, we have Edge of Eternity, a JRPG game. The game is set in a world on the brink of destruction, where you take control of a group of heroes on a quest to save their world from an otherworldly threat. With its unique blend of science fiction and fantasy elements, Edge of Eternity offers players a compelling narrative, deep character customization, and intense turn-based combat. While Edge of Eternity may not be as graphically intense as other AAA titles, its beautifully rendered environments and characters are still impressive. The game's art style is reminiscent of anime, with vibrant colors and bold character designs that help bring the game's world to life. The music in Edge of Eternity is simply amazing, and adds a layer of emotional depth to the game's already engaging storyline. As for the gameplay, Edge of Eternity features a unique turn-based combat system that emphasizes teamwork and strategy. You can customize your party members with different weapons, armor, and abilities, and you must carefully plan out each move in order to murder your enemies. The The game also features a deep crafting system that allows you to create powerful weapons and armor using materials you gather throughout the game's world. Edge of Eternity features intense, gory battles with blood splatters and dismemberment. However, it is worth knowing that you can turn off the blood and gore effects in the game's options menu if you wish to play a less violent version of the game. One of the standout features of Edge of Eternity is its branching narrative. The game offers players multiple paths to take throughout the story, each with their own consequences and outcomes. This means that players can have a vastly different experience depending on the choices that they make, adding a layer of replayability to the game. Overall, Edge of Eternity is an excellent JRPG with a compelling storyline, beautiful art style, and engaging gameplay. Its turn-based combat offers a refreshing change of pace from other action-oriented RPGs, and the game's branching narrative gives players plenty of reasons to come back for multiple playthroughs. Those who are fans of intense, gory battles will definitely find plenty to enjoy here. And number 4, we have Hero's Hour, a strategy game with many ideas crammed into it. You play as a faction who is hell-bent on world domination, by murdering enemy armies and conquering their home city before they do the same to you. You roam as one of the hero units with an army behind you. Capturing mines, lumber mills, and alchemy labs generates resources which you can use to upgrade your town, building hero recruiting taverns, a magic giving tower, and so forth. Every day you're given a limited travel distance to do your killing and looting. When your marching juice is out, your opponent will do the same. The town will supply you with additional soldiers over time, which will require another hero to ferry them up. Battles are automated and you're given the role of setting up troop formation. You can set your archers up behind a gang of melee hard hitters, as an example. While you can drag units around during a fight, it is usually not worth it. You win battles from being prepared, strategizing, and forward thinking, with a good number of well-trained troops going in. You can also cast spells during fights, like a line of burning salt through enemies, or AoE fire blasts, or even buffing health. Enemies can also do the same, and sometimes cast spells that you haven't even seen before. Units are also varied, random, and a lot of them are pretty funny, like wild boars, deers that splurt out fairies, golems, zombies, units that can turn enemies into solid gold for you to harvest their golden body parts as loot, among others. The UI can be a bit rough on the eyes, with tiny text and with everything looking similar. It is a messy game that doesn't give you a lot of control of your own units. Enemy units can also be quite challenging, especially if you do not heed to their difficulty warnings hovering above their heads. They are also seeking to conquer, so you may just find your lands being raided by a bazillion enemy units while you're away, and they can easily destroy everything you have. Maps are procedurally generated, spells that your heroes learn are for the most part randomized. There are 11 factions, 80 spells, and 177 different unit types, filled with some of the strangest blend of units in any RTS. Battles are also more like two armies rioting against each other. Everything can feel very random and chaotic, yet that is part of the fun of Hero's Hour, and I would highly recommend giving it a try. And number 5 we have Rogue Lords, a turn-based strategy game. Rogue Lords is set in a dark fantasy world where you take on the role of the devil, commanding a team of infamous villains such as Dracula, the Headless Horseman, and Bloody Mary. The game offers a unique blend of role-playing and deck-building elements, with challenging battles against righteous heroes. The game's plot revolves around the devil's plan to reclaim his power and prestige, which he lost in a previous war with the forces of good. To achieve this goal, the devil enlists the help of some of the most notorious villains in history, who he revives from the dead to serve as his commanders. The game's story is narrated by the devil himself, who provides sarcastic and humorous commentary on the events as they unfold. The gameplay in Rogue Lords is split into two main parts: exploring the game world and fighting battles. During exploration, you move around the map, collecting resources and recruiting new allies. You can also use your dark powers to influence events, sabotaging heroes, or turning your own minions into double agents. In combat, players must use their deck building skills to assemble a team of minions and defeat waves of enemy heroes. The battles are turn-based and offer a lot of strategic depth, with each character having unique abilities and weaknesses. The game also features a lot of violent and gory animations, making the battles more intense and satisfying. Rogue Lord's graphics are top-notch, with hand-drawn characters and environments that capture the game's dark and macabre tone. The game's soundtrack is also impressive, with haunting melodies that add to the game's atmosphere. One of the game's most impressive features is its replayability. The game offers multiple paths to victory, depending on your choices and actions. You can also replay battles to try different strategies or unlock new cards and characters. Overall, Rogue Lords is a fantastic turn-based strategy game that offers a unique twist to the genre. The game's dark fantasy world, sarcastic humor, and intense battles make it a must-play for fans of the genre. However, the game's violent and gory animations may not be suitable for all audiences. And number 6 we have Demon Turf, a 3D platformer. The game offers a colorful and vibrant world to explore, along with challenging platforming sections. The game follows the story of Beeps, a demon princess who is on a mission to conquer the Demon Turfs, a group of territories ruled by different demons. In her journey, she meets various characters and faces off against other demons in her quest to become the ultimate demon queen. One of the most unique features of Demon Turf is its art style. The game combines 2D sprites with 3D environments, creating a beautiful and distinctive look. The animations are smooth, and the character designs are creative, with each demon having its own personality and style. The game's controls are tight and responsive, which is essential for a platformer. Beeps can jump, double jump, and perform a dash move, which helps her navigate the challenging platforming sections. The levels are well designed, with a mix of vertical and horizontal sections, and different obstacles to overcome. The game also features various collectibles such as coins and cards, which adds replayability to the levels. However, the game's camera can be quite finicky at times, making it hard to see where Beeps is going. This can lead to frustrating deaths, especially in the later levels where the platforming sections become more challenging. The game's soundtrack is upbeat and fits the game's overall tone perfectly. The voice acting is also well done, with each character having its own unique voice. One of the game's most significant drawbacks is its lack of variety. While the platforming sections are challenging, the game doesn't offer much else in terms of gameplay. The combat is shallow, with Beeps only having a basic attack and a charge move. The boss battles are also repetitive, with each demon having a similar attack pattern. Another issue is the game's story, which feels underdeveloped. While the game's premise is interesting, the story never really goes anywhere. The characters are charming, but they don't have much depth, and the game's ending feels rushed and unsatisfying. Overall, Demon Turf is a fun and challenging platformer, with a unique art style and tight controls. However, the game's lack of variety and underdeveloped story hold it back from being a truly great game. If you're a fan of platformers, Demon Turf is definitely worth checking out, but don't expect a game-changing experience. And number 7 we have Golden Light, a very weird FPS horror game. You play an alcoholic writer and you have a girlfriend named She, and She has been kidnapped by a hand that came out of the ground. Now you must jump into this hole in the ground called the Gut to collect pieces of her meat and save her. Yeah, this game is weird, but it does also sound like the plot of Resident Evil Village. When you're in the hole, you must abide by the most important rule: nothing makes sense. Items around you could be a monster, traps are littered around the floor without clear indications that they are traps, and even the consumables are out for experimentation. You won't know what items you pick up will do until you use them. This confusion is also what makes this game so interesting to play through, because you're always guessing as to what is coming next. Will a computer screen suddenly turn into a grotesque monster and start chasing you, or is it just another computer screen? The goal is less confusing, as the core gameplay is straightforward in each level. Explore each floor of the Gut, locate keys, and unlock the next floor with said keys until you recover She's missing body parts. Picking up the last key needed to unlock the elevator will sometimes create a frenzy in the entire level. Bosses are also present in this game, but they can feel like damage sponges. They're also massive in size, so massive that they simply graphically clip into you as they attack. You don't need to actually fight them though. All you have to do is stay alive, grab the keys, and get to the elevator. In the Eternal Field, you can find characters, bonuses, and new biomes, if you take the time to explore it. Just be careful of those dreadful mushroom people. This game will have you second guessing yourself throughout your time with it, and with the lack of information to chew on, it creates a very unsettling yet intriguing experience. And number 8 we have Monster Crown, a monster taming game. The game offers a unique take on the genre, with a darker and more mature storyline and a focus on breeding and fusing monsters. The game's story follows the journey of a young trainer who sets out to become the champion of the monster-filled Crown Island, like no one ever was. The story takes a darker turn as the player uncovers a plot to summon an ancient evil, and they must stop it before it's too late. One of the most significant features of Monster Crown is its monster breeding and fusing mechanics. You can breed your monsters to create new and unique combinations, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. The game also features a fusion mechanic, allowing you to combine two monsters into a more powerful one. The game's battles are turn-based, with a focus on strategy and elemental strengths and weaknesses. The game features over 200 monsters to collect, each with its own unique design and abilities. The game also features a post-game area, with even stronger monsters to battle and collect. The game's graphics are pixelated, but they are well done and fits the game's overall tone. The game's soundtrack is also worth mentioning, with a haunting and atmospheric score that adds to the game's darker themes. However, the game's difficulty can be frustrating at times. Some of the battles are challenging, especially in the post-game area, and you may need to grind or breed and fuse your monsters to progress. Additionally, the game's user interface can be overwhelming, with a lot of information and options to navigate. Another issue of the game is its lack of variety in its environments. The game takes place on Crown Island, but the environments can feel repetitive, with only slight variations in each area. In terms of the game's storyline, while it does take a darker and more mature approach, it can feel a bit generic at times. The characters and their motivations are somewhat one-dimensional, and the game's ending may feel unsatisfying for some players. In conclusion, Monster Crown is a solid monster taming game, with a unique breeding and fusing mechanic and a darker storyline. The game's battles are strategic and engaging, and the post-game area offers a significant challenge. However, the game's difficulty and overwhelming user interface may be a turnoff for some players. If you're a fan of the genre and are looking for a more mature take on monster taming, Monster Crown is worth checking out. This month's Humble Monthly is actually pretty good, a good blend of adventure games that you can sink hours into. I would highly recommend it. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.